Hi, I'm your Gemini friend. So this is going to be a series on Lilith in the signs and houses, and I'm starting with Pisces because I like to work forwards, backwards, alternate, I don't know. But since these are going to be shorter videos, I imagine I'll be uploading more often than I have been during this Mercury retrograde that's been really slowing me down. And I'll sprinkle in more videos about random topics, but this is such a fascinating energy to be in, Lilith. Like, who is she? It has been difficult to actually get a full understanding and grasp on this energy, and I feel like it's because she's kind of mysterious and unattainable in a way. She makes you work for it. So I don't like to just understand placements and energies in words. I really need to have a full feeling and understanding of what they mean and the significance on an energetic level. So I like to think of this as Lilith really knowing her worth. She will help if you're willing to put in the effort. So when it comes to this placement, Lilith in Pisces and Lilith in the 12th house, when it's the sign, you're going to think of it as more like a personality being expressed. And the house, it's going to be the area of life where this is relevant for you. And the theme of Lilith is essentially rejection, where we have been made to feel like we are not acceptable, not good enough, not where we've kind of been forced to give up our power. Typically from external sources, from people and their effect on us, but with certain ones, including this one, it can be a lot more self-sabotagey, your own worst enemy sort of thing. Certainly not in all cases, but it's a distortion of the energy. So you can think of being imbalanced within yourself. I strongly associate Lilith with feminine power, feminine energy, the feminine side, that everyone has their masculine and feminine, and they should be in balance. We should be actively pursuing what we want, but also allowing ourselves to rest and attract. And in this world, pursuit, masculine energy, is typically thought of as superior or overall more worthy of getting what it wants, which Lilith wants us to know is absolutely wrong. It takes both sides. It takes that balance, but she represents empowering the feminine side that has been repressed. So when you have Lilith in Pisces or in the 12th house, there can be this strong feeling of just not belonging, feeling alienated. This can come especially with Lilith in the 12th house, with being adopted or being somehow separated from your birth family, acceptance in general. And when it comes to distortions of the energy, negative expressions of this Pisces 12th house Neptune energy can be really difficult ones, because this is more of a tendency towards escapism, delusion, self-delusion, or attracting illusions, manipulative people, false hope, false gurus, things that give the illusion of spirituality or higher depth, understanding, and significance in the world, and using this instead of, in a healthy way, to sort of overcompensate for some perceived lack of self-worth in this area. And it can go one of two ways, which is extreme in the direction of total indulgence in your own internal world through fantasies, through just isolation, or through substances and addiction, or even through false spirituality, or being attracted to teachings that are misguiding. But on the other end, it can also be an entire rejection of the very idea of spirituality, or the idea of there being more than the material world, and a total aversion to the idea of thinking that you are anything more than that. A rejection of other people's depth, essentially taking the fantasy versus material world to the extreme in some way. And this comes from an overall sense of confusion, of a need to heal and integrate the concept of existing, just existence itself. That's why this can be such a tough one, because it almost feels like there's just something fundamentally wrong with you that maybe other people rejected, maybe you perceived, with this real heightened sensitivity that this gives you, that you were somehow an outsider according to other people, and very likely misunderstood in some way. I would say that the word misunderstood is very key to this placement because of that illusion, deceptive quality that Neptune can have. This can also be a real struggle with boundaries, with saying no to people, and even with allowing people into your energy, I want to say that again. Allowing people into your energy beyond what they deserve. You could certainly have a lot of takers in your life, people who will siphon off your energy, recognizing that you are so giving in this way, and that's so dangerous because you are so giving in this way, most likely. And people who are taking, they are not going to be considering the fairness. They're not looking out for you on any level. So it's really important to look out for yourself. And what can come with this? The way that I see it as far as imbalance goes, if you aren't asserting yourself in the ways that you need to in order to essentially tell the world who you are, what you're deserving of, and how you want and deserve to be treated, you could have a real issue with this. And in that way, overdo giving of your energy. It can even feel like your spiritual connection is so strong and significant, it draws other people who are looking for that, and you might feel like since you are capable of comprehending these things, of reaching spiritual significance within yourself, you might feel that you owe other people your knowledge, your time, and your energy. And it's difficult because it comes from a desire to help, a very genuine selflessness. But this can be a form of self-rejection, of self-punishment. And when you deplete yourself of this energy, it only lowers your sense of low self-worth. And another thing that comes with this can be total suppression, total not even recognizing feelings like aggression, anger. It could be any difficult emotions. You might have a tendency to press them down, especially in consideration for other people, and you might be entirely unaware of this. Basically, there is a lot beneath the surface, and it needs to be recognized, acknowledged, and seen before you're really able to move out of this. It's really important to recognize your own shadow, your own darker feelings, and of course, Lilith, the parts of you that you reject within yourself, the parts of you that feel unacceptable. But that can be a real struggle with this placement. In fact, people with this placement can spend their entire lives completely trapping themselves in their own world, cutting themselves off from the rest of the world, which is a shame because the potential of this energy is so incredibly compassionate, loving, and important. It's essential. But the distortions that can come from not recognizing any feelings of abandonment or rejection within the self, or even the unfairness that you allow yourself to go through, this is extremely detrimental to the psyche. In extreme circumstances, this can even lead to deceiving other people and even proclaiming yourself as like a false prophet, like you have teachings and they're coming from a distorted place. When this energy is really unhealthy and really ignored, it can manifest in ways that can hurt people on a large scale. When it comes to, say, like cult leaders, gurus who are just lying and manipulating people, I associate this energy with that. If you're looking for self-improvement, you are very most likely not this sort of person, but this can absolutely happen. But looking on the light side of this, the skills that come with this placement, this is extreme, imaginative, creative, just beautiful abilities to put beauty in the world, to use your connection to things that are much deeper than surface level, to like introduce other people to this energy. You have a real skill for comprehending things of a spiritual nature very naturally. This is a supernatural sense of the supernatural. It's an innate connection to things that are beyond just the material plane. So when you're able to escapism and to control any tendencies to like numb out or use any situations to distract yourself, pull yourself away from inner work, and you do that inner work, you do enter the psyche, as absolutely painful as it can be, because this can indicate really deep pain. Isolation on a level that so many different circumstances, but a real feeling of not belonging. You could have felt rejected by your caretakers, or somehow led to feel like you weren't allowed to stand up for yourself. But that's false. And Lilith in this energy is so incredibly empowering, because it is taking what is the deepest of all, our existence, our connection to each other, and our ability to go within to the collective knowledge that we all have access to, and recognize that you don't want other people to feel the way that you felt. This is a wonderful placement for the difficult concept of being a highly spiritual person in a situation where you're surrounded by people who are not, especially if they think you're crazy or they think that you're delusional. Of course, we want to make sure that we're sitting in the truth, that we've worked through things and aren't hiding significant pain from ourselves. But you know when you reach that place of real truth, and you have an innate connection to this. That's why this can feel so painful, because you have such a sense of what is actually real versus what we are able to see here. And that within itself can feel so isolating, because having this completely different way of thinking, likely since you were a child, I could definitely see highly psychic situations, like being able to pick up on things that other people can't see. But through reclaiming this energy, it is wonderfully refreshing to live in your truth unabashedly, regardless of what anybody says or thinks of you. Because what happens is you don't even have to sway them. You just have to live in your truth. And when they catch on and see, like, okay, they're doing great, I wonder why, what's going on, people will ask. And then you'll be able to teach. Because this is a wonderful placement for being a spiritual teacher, but it needs to come from the right place, because it's also a great placement for being the worst kind of spiritual teacher, where you're deceiving people. So you want to be really careful with that. But at the same time, I know that this can be a very confusing placement to have. So I don't want to make you think that if you are a considerate person, considering your natal chart and your placements and doing work actively, like you're not at risk of that. Because I know that this can come with an innate sense of feeling like you're a bad person because others have made you feel this way. Or having a sense even that you are a liar because people have not believed you in your truth. But with this like veiled energy, there is a really strong need to become very conscious and aware within yourself before you do go sharing things. Because you have a real power to like sway and affect people because of this deep connection. It's just that it can be really dangerous when it's not coming from a healthy place. But I trust you to develop that discernment. So signs that you're on the right track with this are when you are completely able to face yourself in total honesty, recognize what was done to you, recognize the negative repercussions that it had on you, and then even recognize the ways that it might have caused you to act out or hurt yourself. Because being able to face these things and being really honest with yourself about it, that's how you know that you're not living in delusion or lying to yourself. It's not easy by any means, but it's really powerful work to do, and you deserve to have the highest version of this placement because it's a really beautiful one. When in balance and in complete recognition of the truth within. And it's really important not to judge yourself in this way. If you can use that Pisces compassion towards yourself ultimately, then you can recognize that no matter what you've done or what others have done to you, you can forgive them, forgive yourself, or move past it altogether. It's just that suppressing these things within yourself is what's going to be a huge part of the imbalance. It's really, really important to face things. And this is water energy. And think of just how much of our bodies are made of water. You want to let the emotions flow through you. Cry if you need to. Allow yourself, give yourself permission to feel all of these feelings. Because if you don't get them out, then they are trapped inside you and they will fester. And of course, I understand coping mechanisms, using substances, alcohol. I mean, you can get lost in anything, but if you're using it to escape, it's really important to develop a healthier relationship with these things. Because when you recognize what it is you're trying to escape from and you release it, then it's gone. And of course, there is going to be that like lingering, the psychological effects, but when it's gone and you're recognizing those, it only gets better. Everything clears up. So reclaim your spiritual power and really take charge of your ability to process your own trauma. It's hard, but it's worth it. And you're powerful, and I know that you can do it. So this is what I have to say on this topic. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have this placement, whatever you want to tell me. I'm just always curious and like to get more information on everything. And I do offer personal readings if you want my insight on your natal chart. So that'll be it. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye.